All right, everybody, welcome to A Time to Chill. This is another edition in the No Justice, No Peace series. Or whatever, we're talking about the protests in Madison and all that. You know what I'm saying? We had the young lady Monique on the other day, so now we having on my homie James. You know what I'm saying? Good friend of mine. So James, I'm gonna allow you to introduce yourself and just tell people a little something about you.
Well, my name is James Snow. I go by James Snow because that's just a little Game of Thrones thing. I like that show. But my actual name is James Jackson. But you can find me on James Snow on Facebook or any other handle, pretty much.
Okay, James. Okay, so let's get into it, man. So, what influenced you to go and take part in all these protests? You went a few days.
I went a few days. I've been seven days out of 9. 7 days out of 9 so far. So I started on day 2, and I just ended here on Saturday or Friday. This Friday of passing. And what motivated me to get out there in the first place was my late brother Eugene Walker. He passed away in 2010, October 2010, due to police brutality and excessive force being used. He was shot 7 times in the chest by a police officer here in Madison, Wisconsin, and that's what got me the nerve to get up and go protest and let my voice be heard for my other brothers and sisters, not just Eugene Walker as well,
Yeah, man. Rest in peace, Gino. Man, I remember that. That was a sad day for me, man. I couldn't believe it when I heard the news.
Oh yeah, he definitely went by Gino G. He was known around the community. He's a good, fun-loving dude. A really nice guy. Didn't really start any trouble. He was known to finish it, but never really was the type to start it and whatnot. But yeah, he lives on through the rest of his family and myself included. We speak his name anytime we have a chance to.
Okay. So, okay, most definitely. So, just walk us through, I guess, your first protest that you went to. What was the happenings that?
Well, definitely day 2 was when I first came on. Day 2 was a Sunday, I believe, and that was, from what I hear, one of the shakiest protests that we had was day 2. When I was there, they had a 9:30 what is it, curfew, 9:30 curfew installed that day, and what happened was generally like it started off peacefully like most of the protests do around here, no violence, we speak in truths, and around 9:15 or so you start to see the police, the SWAT team and the police start forming barriers around the Capitol. So like the people that were there, even if they wanted to leave around like closer to 9:30 because they live close to the neighborhood, or they just wanted to leave at 9:30 during the curfew time, or whatever the situation is, we were trapped in before that actual time of the curfew. So soon as we were trapped in around the area, we're looking at the time and the clock. Most of us are looking at the time and the clock. And we start seeing it's getting close to the curfew. As soon as the curfew hit, that's when the tear gas and the mace starts just coming out of the woodworks. There's a gentleman that was sitting on his hands, or sitting on his knees, and had his hands in the air, and I witnessed one of the police officers come and shoot him straight with the mace, right in his eyes, point blank, after he was doing anything. Tear gas in the crowd. I was helping pull people out the tear gas, putting baking soda, water, milk, helping clear their eyes, dragging people that was getting maced, and taking care of them. The medics were amazing out there that night. The medics did a wonderful job there, making sure everybody was safe, getting people out of the bad areas. I personally would love to thank the medics. In fact, the medics helped me out personally. At one point in the protest itself, we were pushed back to James Madison Park area. And during this time, I was helping, like I said again, helping people from the tear gas and helping mace victims and everything from the whole situation going on. Well, around that time, they also started using rubber bullets and whatnot. And they were using a little bit more excessive force to clear out the crowds. One of these rubber bullets, they're about yay tall, that big around. One of these rubber bullets actually struck me right above my eyebrow here and split me open pretty good, where I heard a high pitched ringing in my ear, and it knocked me unstable for a second. Once I gathered my thoughts and gathered myself together, I started running, and that's when, like I say, these medics are amazing. One of the medics grabbed me by the back and just forcefully slowed me down from running. He told me that I was running and that's why my blood was going so much, I was causing the blood flow to go faster. He sat me down, patched me up, and sent me on my way. I mean, I have there's plenty of videos out there where they see me getting patched up, and this gentleman, he told me a story about how his daughter gave him a particular Band-Aid right before he left the house for the protest, and he used that particular Band-Aid that his daughter gave him to patch my head up. And that's the only story or the link I have to that actual medic that helped me out. So if he's watching this or whatever, I would like to say thank you because I appreciate that so much, and that was very helpful. And then all the other medics, I would like to say thank you as well.
Okay. That's definitely what's up. So, man. Okay. So, I kind of want to press this because like I said, I had someone else who was talking about the protest. So protesters were being let's call it assault. We're being assaulted for no reason. There are people. You said there was a guy that was on his hands and knees who was obviously not a threat.
Yes.
Who was being pepper sprayed. So this is a lot of this is what was going on.
Yes, it was. There was no confrontation between the police and the protesters before the police started macing and forcefully clearing people out. Like these last couple days, let's say like 3 to 4 days that we just had previously, no incidents, no looting, nothing whatsoever. You don't want to know why? Because the police wasn't there to agitate a situation. They have a chant there in the protest called that where they're saying "Don't start no shit, won't be no shit." They're not talking to the other protesters. They're talking to the police officers. And so far, those people have not started shit, and there was no shit. That's why we've been able to have these peaceful protests these past couple of days.
So you're saying a lot of the unpeacefulness of the protest came after the police started using excessive force, I guess.
Absolutely, yes, absolutely. The police chief warned everybody that there was a storm coming in. Yes, he had booze at first, but he came down there by himself, didn't have any physical harm done to him. And guess what? The people actually listened. Once they seen how serious the storm was, that one fire chief marshal was able to get everybody out the area to a safely to get away from the storm. That one person. Now all these police officers that's coming here, they're waving batons, they're flexing their muscles, they're showing that they can use excessive force if need be and whatnot, when all they needed to do was just either be there and watch the perimeter or whatever they needed to do, or just like silently just be in the background. They couldn't do that. They had to make sure that their presence was felt.
Yeah, and I've seen some videos, and it definitely seemed like they had that kind of like mob mentality, it was on some gangster stuff.
Yes, exactly. That's what I mean. Like when the AR-15 toting people were out because they couldn't get their haircuts or couldn't get their favorite food from a restaurant or whatever they were really protesting for, they had their guns out and everything, and there was no sense of urgency to protect the area like it was for the Black Lives Matter protest. You didn't see not one officer out there that feared for his life when those AR-15s were just out by the masses around the Capitol. But a bunch of black faces in one gathered in one immediate area, that tends to get them nervous for some reason.
For some reason, huh?
Yes.
This is nothing new.
Yes, it's nothing new.
So as far as the crowd, what I'm saying, we have people out there of all colors, like black, white, Latino, everything.
Yes, we had a lot of people of all colors. I've seen a lot of white faces. I've seen a lot of Asian faces. I've seen a lot of Latino faces. I've seen a lot of biracial faces. Mm-hmm. I've seen a lot of faces of ethnicities that I don't even know about yet. You know. But I've seen a lot of people coming together to fight for what's right. What's right is right, what's wrong is wrong.
What's right is right, and what's wrong. And it's crazy how this movement has spread to literally all over the country.
All over the country.
Other countries,
yes.
You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
So it's definitely becoming something where people's backs are against the wall, where it's like people aren't going to put up with it no more.
Exactly.
Is that the energy you getting from it?
I am getting it, and I feel like they say this is the biggest civil rights movement ever in history right now. It's all 50 states at one point in time were protesting together, Mm-hmm. There was there's countries that I didn't even know had any interest in our people, and they're showing solidarity to this whole situation, It's a beautiful thing. It sends chills down one's spine, It's unreal that some people still don't get it out there in the world when there's so many people telling you what's going on, and people choose to be blind. I know it's not people that can't see it, they choose not to see it. I refuse that nobody understands why this has happened. I refuse to believe that. I believe that they choose this and they want to play ignorant. It's like a child that does something wrong, they're going to play ignorant. They're going to pretend like they don't know your questions. They're going to pretend like they're deaf and they can't hear what you're saying because they don't want to get in trouble, or they just don't want to have no parts of it.
Yes, and what people will do, and this is what bothers me, so I just kind of want to get off on this kind of a tangent right now. You'll have people, or the first thing they'll say is, well, black people kill black people all the time. Yeah. As an argument to police brutality, which is ridiculous because black people don't get away with murder.
Right.
If they get caught, police do.
Yes.
And on top of that, like if people aren't talking about white on white crime and white people kill each other, then why are you talking about black on black crime?
Exactly.
So what do you think?
The thing I think about that, I think it's just they're just deterring the whole conversation in the whole. Like, if that is the problem, which I agree it is a problem, that's our problem. It's nothing for you to speak up on, you know?
Exactly.
That's for us to settle ourselves. And like, we are pushing, there are select views that are pushing the point that, yes, black lives do need to matter to other black people, which I agree. We do need to have a better way of handling situations with each other, you know? Need to become less violent and more vocal when it comes to confrontations within our brothers and sisters, you know what I mean? Yeah. We must push for that. And I agree with that, but it's not their place to tell us we need to do that. Especially if they can't fight with us or this situation, but then have the nerve to tell us that we need to handle something else before they have the courage to handle, like, to help us out. That shows you right there.
Yes, it does.
That shows you right there.
It
you
does.
know?
Yep.
I mean, it's sad. It's like they're blatantly telling you, like, well, I'm not going to care until you care about this or whatever. Why can't you care about both? You know,
Right.
Like, even if I am wrong and I'm looking at it the wrong way, why can't you teach me something right? You know what I'm saying? Instead of using it as an anchor for an argument for you, why you shouldn't have to do it.
Yeah, just say you don't give a damn about George Floyd. Just
Exactly.
say you don't give a damn about that.
Exactly.
You know, black people from the police. Just say that. You know.
That goes with the Martin Luther King thing. They're quoting Martin Luther King because that's the only revolutionary that they know of, and the one that's taught in the history books in schools. That's all they can reference to. And they forgot one major detail: that the government just admitted that they murdered Dr. Martin Luther King.
Absolutely, and I seen a comment on Twitter the other day where people were like, you know, they posted Martin Luther King. They're like, this is what a peaceful protest looked like, and I couldn't help but comment, but like, yeah, he was a peaceful man, but still died violently.
Yes, died violently, and not only that, spoke up on riots and whatnot that would occur if needs were not met, not demands, needs, like basic human needs, rights, you know. And that's what he was fighting for. Malcolm X was fighting for the same thing. The difference is Malcolm X was more of a humanitarian than just the black civil rights movement. He was fighting for all fellow men, you know what I mean?
Oh yeah, like, he was hands-on.
He was hands-on,
right,
super hands-on. Yes, he put the black man first. At the same time, he was fighting for all races as well, you know what I mean? So the misconception that Malcolm X was a militant black activist, which is, I won't say it's entirely not true, but it's not held up as much as people would like to perceive it as. You know, he wasn't out there just kicking down white people's doors and whatnot. They tried to make him seem like an evil activist, which he was far from.
Yeah, he was like, don't fuck with me, I won't fuck with you, exactly. which should be code for everybody. You know what I'm saying?
Don't start no shit, won't be no shit.
Exactly.
You
so
know?
It seems like there was some shit started on the end of the post.
Oh, for sure.
So this is why I wanted to do these interviews, man, because other than just like, you know what I mean, being out there, because obviously there are a lot of people out there, there's a lot of videos going on.
Yeah.
I definitely wanted to be able to find some people and have them tell their story behind it, give some context to all the videos. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah.
You know what I mean? Kind of go a little bit deeper and have something engraved where it's like people are speaking.
And that's very important. I think it's very important what you're doing, because like the media is not going to go out there and tell our stories. They're going to tell the stories that they want to tell. They're going to paint the image that this happened because black people were angry, pretty much.
Exactly.
You know, and we need people like you to tell our side of the story. You know, give that other image that the media might not partake in showing you. And I just think it's great what you're doing out here for the community, and like giving us a chance to have our voice and our emotions and our feelings expressed throughout this whole situation.
Hey, no problem, man. I kind of feel like at some point I might be putting myself at risk or whatever, but
yes, I hear that.
It is what it is.
I'm
not gonna let nobody stop me.
I hear that. Exactly. That goes to the same thing with my head. Like you said, you felt like you put yourself at risk, and I feel the same thing. When I went out there the very next day after I had my head split open by that thing, I was nervous.
So the head split open was the very first day.
No, the first day I went to protest.
And you still went.
And I still went the second day, and on the days why. I had my flag in the car. I wish I actually would have brought it, but I had a T-shirt on, and I cut out the middle of the T-shirt, and I put Black Lives Matter on it, and it has blood soaked, and I carry it on my backpack to remind me what happened the first day I came out here to protest.
Damn.
You know, and I still did it, and I was scared, I was nervous, but I still got out there and did it. I didn't want to do it, but I refused to let them have that. I almost had a little bit of PTSD that scared me away from it, and I was scared to go back to the protest, but I said, no, they're not going to control me like that. I'm going to keep fighting. I'm doing this for my brother Eugene Walker, and I keep marching on with him in mind because he can't speak for himself right now, but I can. So I have to do it for him. And that's what gave me strength to keep marching and keep going forward. Because if he can't do it, I'm going to do it for him. I'm going to do it for my next brother that couldn't do it, you know? And I'm going to keep doing it for my sisters that can't do it. Because I got my legs and I can walk and I can scream. I can scream right now. So I'm going to do it for those people who can't do it right now.
Respect.
You know? And I want to emphasize, too, that there's many different ways to protest. You don't necessarily have to be out there marching, screaming your rights and truths and just being out in the wake of the whole situation. You don't have to put yourself in there, you know. You don't have to. There's many of other ways. You can donate. You can help get your fellow man registered to vote. You can go on social media, encourage your friends to go out to some of these protests who are able-bodied and can make it or whatnot. You can go ahead and you can do what you're doing right now, give interviews and another point of view of everything. Like, there's so many ways that you can participate in the protest. You do not necessarily have to be in the immediate protest to be a part of the protest. And I want to just make that clear.
Okay, for sure. And that's good advice, man. Like, damn, man, I just want to commend you, man. Like, you went right back after they, you know, hit you with the bullet and shit like that, man. They split your shit open. You still, you know what I'm saying, wasn't laying down for nothing. So I can definitely respect that, man. That's why I wanted to, I was looking for people and I seen that picture and I'm just like, I need to see if I can get bro in, you know, to talk about it, man, because that picture itself spoke
volumes.
Man.
Yeah. I mean, like, the picture itself, and like, I had a couple buddies, like, it didn't look as major then at the time, and then the next day you see my whole eye swollen and everything. And like I said, I had a great medic. You didn't see like a lot of blood and stuff on my face because the medic that was in the trenches with us, that was getting tear gas in their eyes while still patching me up at the same time, you know.
Damn.
Those guys are the reason why I was able to make it to the hospital to get stitched up. Because if it wasn't for that dude that helped me then, I don't know what the hell. I could have passed out. I could have been knocked unconscious.
And
who knows what could happen?
The police probably wouldn't have cared.
And they wouldn't have cared. They would have kept marching over me.
I had, like I said, I had the other person I had talking said she got hit by a car in front of the police by someone who had a Trump 2020 sign on their car, and the police stood there and did nothing.
I believe it. I absolutely believe it. They're not there to protect us. They're there to control us. When they go out there and they line up against the protesters, they're not there to protect the protesters. They're there to keep them in line and control them.
Yeah.
It's a lot different. Like, when they go to a Klan rally, they go there to protect the Klan. They don't go there to control the Klan and make sure that they can control the output, or if they don't riot or shoot up, they're not there for that. They're there to protect them. When they come to the Black Lives Matter protest, their aim is not to protect us. Their aim is to control us and confine us. That's what their aim is. And that's the difference. That's the difference that people know and see, but they choose not to acknowledge.
Yes, exactly. And now it's just like, it's kind of in your face. You know what I mean?
Exactly. And that's exactly what it is. They're asking, why are these buildings being smashed and this and that. It's the way to get attention, you know. It's the way to get attention. I told them to look at the scars around the city. That's like that. It's all symbolic, you know. The smashed windows is the scars that we feel from the inside, from relatives and family being taken from this. The looting and whatnot, the looting and the money that's being taken from these businesses, that's symbolic to our advantages and our wealth that's being taken from us, and the opportunities that we had to make money and pursue it, you know what I mean? Yeah. And then it's all symbolic in a way. I can go on and on about it, but it's all symbolic to what we are feeling as a human race. We're inflicting these same pains onto inanimate objects. These things that you're crying about right now, we want you to get over it, just like we had to get over slavery and whatnot. Like, you want us to get over slavery? Get over the broken glass.
Bingo.
You know? Like, it's so symbolic that they can't even see it. It's poetry. It's literally poetry in front of your eyes.
Poetry with emotion.
Yeah, exactly.
And I've seen some businesses like release statements on Facebook, and they're like, you know, don't worry about the broken windows. That's material stuff. Lives is way more important than a fucking window.
And that's another thing I want to speak on too. I've seen businesses that try to cover up their windows with Black Lives Matter stuff. I've never seen a black employee in there, let alone a black customer in there.
Talk about it.
And it's like they'll instantly stick up a Black Lives Matter sticker on front of their window as in like a protective way. Be like, yeah, we support you, but please don't smash our windows. You know what I mean?
I got that same vibe.
And I've seen plenty of restaurants like that, like that I've walked into that are very unwelcoming to black people, like Whiskey Jack's. Everybody knows that Whiskey Jack's does not love black people whatsoever, and they had a sticker on their thing talking about
Whiskey
black.
Really?
Yes, and everybody around the city knows that Whiskey Jack's is is by far the most prejudiced bar there is in Madison. And they have a Black Lives Matter little sticker. I don't know if they did it or some other random protester did it, but they had it up there. And for me, I took it as like that's kind of like, oh, please don't be mean to me type thing.
Like protection, like
exactly.
Guys don't.
Yeah,
I got that same vibe when I was walking around and seeing them. It was like, oh, all of y'all care about Black lives.
Exactly. Now everybody's hopping on the bandwagon. Now you guys hear us. Now the NFL is saying that they were wrong, so that they were wrong for treating Kaepernick the way that they were treating. But at the same time, did everybody forget how they were telling people that they were not being racially biased, that it wasn't because of disrespecting the flag and all this and that and this and that. Now they're saying that they were wrong. What are you wrong about? Disrespecting the flag or this man protesting peacefully? Oh, so you did know what you were doing all along, right? And that's my point right there. People know, they just choose to pretend to be dumb and blind like children. You know, like, and it's sickening. It's a slap in the face.
I mean, I wouldn't even be that disrespectful to children, because even a child can see what the fuck is going on right now. So
exactly, that's it. It's sickening, and it drives me crazy when I come into situations like that, because it's like how at one point, like, how stupid do you think I am as a person that I can't see this going on? You know,
most definitely.
And that's a little irritating to me, to say the least.
Okay. Okay, so let's talk progress.
Yes.
As far as, okay, let's say from when you first came out to the rally to when the last time you've been to a rally, and just overall in general, where do you see things going? Where do you see, if you think there's going to be progress being made, or do you think this is all going to be just like one big thing and then people are going to forget, it's going to fall on deaf ears and keep on happening? Do you think that this change will maintain itself?
I think there is no change right now. There is no change. There's the same things happening literally in Monona. While the protesters was out, some dude had his door, like his home, invaded by officers with guns drawn. Yeah. You know, they don't, like, it's still going to be the exact same, but the thing is that it's going to be harder to get away with now. I think people are going to speak up a little bit more now that we have this technologically advanced age now that we're in, so people are out with the video recorders more and whatnot. Mm-hmm. I think more people will stand up and say something against it when they see it or whatnot. But as far as the justice system, that's not something that's going to happen overnight, over a week, over a year. You know, it's going to still take time. You know, it's going to take time. But I believe that we are pushing for a better start to a new beginning. You know.
Okay, and that's definitely like I like to say, slow motion better than no motion.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? So that's definitely a big you know what I'm saying? I feel that. I don't have anything else to add to that. You kind of broke that down in a great way, man. So anything else, man, you want to touch on? Anything you want to
I think I do want to say that the unity between black people does need, like, we can't just say that we want change from other people and not do change ourselves. So with that said, I would like to, myself, I don't know if you guys can tell, I talk with a different pitch than most people are used to. You need to stop shutting people out like that, like me, that act differently and are differently than the traditional black people. The same things that you hate a white man for saying that you also shun another black man for not doing those same things, which I really don't get. You got to stop doing that. We got transgender blacks, gay blacks that also they're our brothers and sisters as well. They deserve our love. We have to be more knowledgeable of the people that are trying to help and unite with us from different cultures. We need to be a little bit more welcoming, I say, in our eyes. We need to get more vocal with each other and less violent with each other, as I said before. I think we need to do that, and I just want to just bring more unity within our community. You know, we have division within ourselves. We know we have division in the world, but we have division within our own community too. And I feel that that's something we should work on. I really do.
Yes, the division, definitely is there. And
yes.
I can agree with that. And what you're saying as far as us shutting out certain black people because they don't carry certain, and I'm gonna just call it what it is, ignorant qualities.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? Like,
yes.
and the whole like, oh well, you talk white.
Yeah.
It's so people equate being or talking black to being ignorant or talking ignorant. Like you can't speak a color.
And that's what I mean by like you say the same thing that you hate a white man for. So for instance, like you'll say that to another black man, but you would hate a white man for saying that same thing. You know, you both is wrong in my eyes. Both is wrong. Absolutely. But at the same time, I'm seeing some imbalance there where you feel it's okay for you to do it, but not them to do it. When essentially it's the same thing. You know.
Yeah, it's that crab in the barrel shit. Man.
Crab in a bucket. Yes,
we need to stop that.
That crab in a bucket mentality needs to fucking go. That shit needs to go. We need to embrace. Like if this brother wants to dribble a basketball and this brother wants to read a comic book and this brother wants to play football, nobody should like have to like do this. Or this dude wants to make music. This dude wants to make videos and whatnot. That should not alter the fact that we are brothers and sisters. You know, we all still in this together, regardless of what path we choose to go down in life.
Yes, so you hear that, ladies and gentlemen? Let's get further away from the real nigga bad bitch mentality and let's start being men and good women.
Yes.
And that's I'm glad we got that in there because that's important. If any of y'all didn't catch that, rewind it back again and listen. Make sure you comprehend that. James, anything else, bro?
I just got two things to say. Shout out Tony Robinson. It is so sad that your life was cut so short in Madison, Wisconsin. That is so sad. And my brother Eugene Walker, I'd like to give him a shout out as well. And I hope to God that we can help stop more of these young brothers and sisters from dying in the streets by Madison Police Department. Stay up, my brothers and sisters.
All right. Thank you, James, for coming through. Good friend of mine, man. Appreciate you, bro. Hey, people, you know what I'm saying? We gonna get up out of here. Hopefully, we get a new entry in the series soon, and we get some more insight on the things that's going on out here, man. But stay safe, my people. You know what I'm saying? Thank you, James. This has been a time to chill. You know what I'm saying? We out of here.